GM, man. Dude, we always all wear black every Tuesday. It seems like. I don't know what's going on there, but great to see, man. So
positives black. Come on. You know that.
Yeah, that is true. Chris only wears black and gray. Like that's his MO anywhere I go. And then some are sometimes white if we're lucky.
Yeah, once in a while.
The Steve Jobs of crypto, man.
Look at this guy. This is why we keep him on the show, man.
Baby.
And how was everyone's weekend? I know I work literally every day.
Every day. I was sick. Jake was good. Chris is getting sick now, so we're good, man.
Yeah. So. Jake's pulling the team, bro. Jake's always pulling the team.
Dude, it was like I thought I was gonna have Sunday off, and next thing I know is deep into like 5 different my great fun conversations.
Man. So
it's good news.
It's so exciting to see everybody, you know, all these teams who are interested in it. Obviously, it's a product it's needed, and when you hit on one of those, you just gotta. There is no time off, right? You just you keep working. That's what we're doing. I think we're gonna have an incredible cohort of teams. Really, kind of just a very different. It's not just going to be one style. It's not just AI projects. It's going to be some meme coins. It's going to be some cool stuff. And so obviously we're super pumped about this. It's going to be great, dude.
And we're up to 10 conversations.
Yeah,
I think we have 5 or 6 confirmed. A few more kind of working through these deals. It's funny. I have all these different people DMing me from whales to community members to VC funds who are interested in hustle. They're all talking about speeding up the migrate stuff so that the next cohort comes. And I'm like, guys, we're doing something that has never been done before. And there's 10 conversations. Everyone has different needs, different requests. There's different nuances. I'm like, this isn't something that can just like pop up out of nowhere. And I feel like everyone feels rushed now because all coins are pumping. But if you've been in a real alt season, you know that alt season lasts like 6 months. It like has this gigantic push up in the beginning, and then there's like a slow dull period, and then the last leg of it. I think I saw Chris talking about this the other day in someone's feed that the last leg of alt season, sometimes that little candle goes for months.
It's the biggest. The third wave is the biggest. It's the most unpredictable. It goes the longest. The gains are the most ridiculous.
Tell me about it a little more, because I mean, I don't track this stuff so well. So what did you see like last cycle with it? Give me like a breakdown.
Well, it just goes back to like classical charting. It's like Elliott wave theory, which just talks about like charting personalities and human behavior. And basically, everyone, by the time you get to the third wave, people that have made the most money, they've been in since the very beginning. So they're so quick to call tops. And when people are still trying to call tops, that thing is going to continue running forever. Basically, that's just like the psychology behind it. And just like, when manias happen, right? There's like a famous, I don't know if it's a Paul Tudor Jones quote. I'm pretty sure it is, but it's like, anytime I see a bubble, I run towards it. When you see a bubble forming, you run towards it, you don't run away. And you just don't want to be the last one out, right? And I mean, this is the closest that I've seen to us be to get to like a 2017 type of mania. You finally have regulatory clarity. You have like, we talked about it before the show, these treasury companies that are acquiring spot altcoins like never before. I mean, that's 100x more powerful than any retail like driven rally we could have hoped for, because then we're going to have retail on top of it. I mean, this is like a crazy recipe for like an absolute manic run. It's clearly starting now, but I mean, that kind of means you have like 6 months, 9 months to go, in my opinion.
It's interesting, like when I see and on the timeline, this has become just like core belief. Like everybody, this is the most obvious thing in the world, is all your profits and everything should be rolled into Bitcoin. Not stabled up. It's just Bitcoin.
And what's that mean?
When it's the most obvious play, I'm like, oh wait, what's happening here, man?
We talked about that last week. Like markets are so like divisive. They finally push you over to the edge on the exact side that you don't want to be on. Everybody's been calling for alt season nonstop since 2017. And then as soon as like we're about to get one, everyone's like, you need to get into Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's had the hardest run up of them all. And you can tell like, so the biggest factor in this run, in this cycle, was the institutions, right? And BlackRock and Fidelity and Franklin Templeton, they all started buying Bitcoin when the ETFs got announced. That was at $25,000, $30,000. They're already in long-term capital gains territory. By the end of the year, like some of these profits are like unimaginable. Like Adam, for a large-scale institutional investor, they're managing billions of dollars. 10% gains, 20% years, 30% years are insane. They're going on like 5x returns, 500%.
Unheard of, really.
Already in long-term capital gains tax territory. Like when they unwind, they're definitely going to unwind. There's no question about it. But until then, we ride.
What's funny is I saw a post today about the pump fund ICO, where there was some sort of fund that got $100 million in.
Oh, really?
And they basically unloaded the whole thing after 25% gains. And there was like a handful of people like, what fund in their right mind would unload after a 25% gain? And it just reminded me, and it reminded me of just what Chris said, because a 25% gain on $100 million is $25 million. It's like, why would you not unload that?
When you put on size, it's extremely difficult to find positions that qualify for large scale returns, and it's extremely difficult to get out. So you have like the whole like process of investing is totally different than investing small dollars.
Yeah, we lose all perspective in crypto. In Wall Street, a 25% return in an hour. it's literally, it just doesn't even happen
on $100 million. I mean,
literally doesn't even happen. And so obviously, the smart money, the hedge funds and these guys who are just, we're all monkeys compared to what these guys know and how they trade. Yeah, it's here. And it's just like, oh, I can just take advantage of these crypto idiots. I'll pull 25% off all day long at size. Fuck yeah. Hell. I didn't realize that there was somebody who bought is that confirmed? Like, for sure?
Yeah, it was, I saw a bunch of people posting about it.
I think it was Kyle Samani at Multicoin.
That would make sense. I mean, he's more sophisticated liquid funds. So, yeah, let's, continuing to speculate on alt season. This recent run up in the last week or two, it reminded me a lot of January 2021, where that was when Dogecoin started taking off from less than a penny and it eventually ran up to 69 cents in 5 months or so. But that was the beginning of alt season. And what happened at that point was every market sector in crypto at that time pumped in unison. And that's kind of what happened over the last few weeks, is that you saw it to me, it really seems like AI coins seem to front run everything. That seems to be the first mover, and then everything else follows, right? And you saw XRP hit an all-time high, Stellar's following it, Hedera, right? All the kind of normie coins, Cardano, they're all pumping. And then on the long tail, we saw a bunch of NFTs pump, right? Across ordinals, across Ethereum. I don't know about Solana NFTs, but I'm assuming they probably pumped a little bit as well.
Yep.
And it's kind of just a signal, right? It's like essentially they're putting in, and the Sunday candle was massive, right? The Ethereum candle, 3-weekly candle closed at 3,700. The week before it closed at 2,970, right? So now it's just firmly in mid 3,000s. It's what, 25% off all-time highs. And I feel like alt season mania doesn't really start until ETH is past its all-time high, right? Because then you have that actual wealth generating effect. Like, you're probably going to spend the next few weeks of people in ETH just offloading their bags if they were underwater. Now they're break even. And you have the treasury companies now buying it. It's kind of like with Bitcoin, where I guess this OG whale who had 80,000 Bitcoin just unloaded it over the past week or two, and Bitcoin barely dipped. And it's because all the treasury companies are basically picking it up. I feel like Ethereum's going to go through a similar situation where a bunch of these old holders are going to start offloading, maybe because they want to rebalance their portfolios, or they're just tired of being down for the last year or so. But it seems like these ETH treasury companies, man, they got some awesome KOLs for their companies. You got Tom Lee, you got McCann. There was another one that just popped up recently. It's funny because I kind of look at the treasury companies as meme coins with KOLs, and it seems like every treasury company's got their own.
I was gonna say it's it's good FOMO though, because obviously I hold ETH, but it's good FOMO where it's not just a pump where people want to get out of their position. It's a pump where you're like, shoot, I don't want to get out because I think this is going to rip much higher. And I think that's kind of what's happening right now in ETH, is that you're getting these really good KOLs, Wall Street guys, who you feel like, that's at least I feel like, oh, these guys are actually they're going to sell this treasury company narrative, and the yield on ETH is a really good narrative to sell. And ETH could go exponentially higher here. So even I'm not tempted to sell any ETH right now, or even if it hit all-time highs, I'm looking at, I'm looking at Chris's prediction of, 20K ETH. How can we get there? So I don't know. What were our predictions for ETH? I don't know. Did you predict 20K? You had 15K prediction? Yeah, that this lines up perfectly. Yeah, it lines up.
And it goes back to these market psychology points, right? Like, everyone always sells exactly what they should be buying. I mean, you had literally every single .eth removing .eth from their portfolio. You had like David from
literally Bankless, like 3 weeks ago.
You had David from Bankless becoming a Bitcoin maxi right when the Ethereum treasury companies were going to take off. His whole personality was built off of ETH is better than Bitcoin. And at the stone cold bottom, he switched to a Bitcoin maxi. Like, this is the funniest timeline, the most ironic timeline ever. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. And so it just goes to show like how powerful and kind of persuasive markets can be. And I don't know, man, like, people that are saying like alt season will never happen. This is like the best recipe for an alt season. It's like literally publicly traded companies aping in hundreds of millions of dollars into spot altcoins. If that doesn't spark an alt season, I don't think that you'll ever get one. Like, if that doesn't do it, I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Yep.
Yeah, it's completely true. So then I guess it's, last cycle, it was NFTs that really took the show, but you also had DeFi was also, coming out of multi-year build period and just absolutely ripped as well. Although NFTs were kind of like the new shiny thing. In 2017, I think everyone just unanimously agrees that the 2017 cycle was like the craziest blow off the top that's ever happened. Whereas 2021 was a little bit more of kind of gradual decline into kind of funds unwinding and things blowing up. Where 2017, it was just, there's so much money on the table here that everyone just started kind of ripping. So, do we see a more 2017 like cycle with all of these funds and institutions, clipping into the large caps? Although the large caps and treasuries, right, isn't pegged to the on-chain market. So you have to literally go through a little bit more hoops and ladders to get that capital off of Charles Schwab or off of Fidelity, and then get it into kind of the on-chain altcoin markets. And then second question is, what sectors take the show for this cycle? Is it meme coins continue to rip? Do we see something new and shiny, or are altcoins just doomed and it's just whatever has a treasury company is what's going to pop?
I mean, for me, it's tough to tell. I mean, if we look at the last 2 cycles, including this one, Sol pumped because memes took off. At least this is like the monkey brain easy way to look at it. And then we had, ETH pumped because NFTs, took off. And so what do we have now? What we have, actually, we have these treasury companies, right? And so I think, smartly, like we saw with Charlie Lee setting up a Litecoin treasury company. I don't know if one's happened for Sol yet, but I'm sure they're in process. And I know for a fact, I think one with Whiff actually like announced the other day, but these meme coins are trying to push it. I almost just look to that. I look to kind of off-chain stuff rather than on-chain stuff to be the kind of driver here. It just seems like this is the Wall Street cycle, but there could be something I'm missing there, and maybe memes come back, but I don't feel it, man. It feels like memes, nothing can really hold. I don't feel like that's going to be a narrative, for the rest of the cycle, but could be. I just don't feel like it. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
Dude.
I guess one thing I will just add on that is I saw like Banker got listed today on Coinbase or whatever. That could be a game changer. If we get full integration of, meme coins on Robinhood or that could move the needle in some other way. But go ahead, Chris.
So people love the memes, and like people are just not going to stop loving the memes. Like there's nothing in human psychology that is just going to make them stop loving the memes. And actually, they're going to love them even more, because the higher that the more pristine assets like Bitcoin go, that's when you look for a little bit of a beta play. Oh, Bitcoin's so high, I can only get a 2x. I'm going to try and get a 3x off ETH. Okay, well, ETH is already high. I can only get like a 3x off meme coins. And so it's just like moving capital around to where the opportunity is. And people are not going to stop liking the memes. So I think that this is like a really explosive rally that we're going to go into, mainly because so many big positions were built on early on, like we talked about Fidelities and the BlackRocks and things of that nature. And then you have so many funds like mid-tier, just kind of mid-brain, VCs or investment bankers or whatever that missed the entire rally. And so they've been hateful of crypto for the past 10 years. And this is where they get their revenge. This is where they have to go in with size, and they're going to get completely annihilated, obviously, at some point. But this is like where the revenge traders get in. And that's like the best catalyst to just propel us like extremely high at some point. And then I think like talk about like new innovations. I still think it's like the Bitcoin on-chain economy. I think that's like, yeah, it's like, a replay of all the other ecosystems, but that's all that Bitcoin has ever intended to do. It was let R&D go off-chain on different blockchains, and then bring those innovations on-chain. And we're finally at that level. So if there was a dark horse, there's no question about it. I've been a Runes fan for a long time. I think the Runes are the easiest bet of the cycle, and I think that they'll have the highest percent returns by the time the top comes around.
We're starting to actually see that now that Kraken is taking a bet on Runes in a similar way that Magic Eden took a bet on ordinals. Dog went from, I think, like 200 million up to 500 million, now sitting around 400. We're seeing the Kraken team now start marketing Magic Internet Money, and MIM, I think, is up to like 80 million. It's up like 2 or 3x. Gizmo also is pumping, as well as a few other ones. And I guess speculation that's going to be listed. But from what I hear from people that I talk to about Kraken, it sounds like they're going to welcome a lot more runes than just these. Like they're actually going to talk to teams, and they want to just fully support the entire ecosystem, which is a smart play, right? Because as we know, once Kraken gets success, then all these other ones are going to follow suit at some point in time. But at that point, it could be too late. And, Kraken could be the winner to get all of these. And it's interesting
Bongo in the audience. Bongo, can you give us an update on your closed door meetings with with Kraken, bro?
Bongo, don't say anything, bro. He is too euphoric, that guy.
Wait, what's Billy up to right now, man? What's Billy at?
I think it's at like 30 million. I saw the other day. I don't know if it is still around there, but Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, where it evolves. Obviously, BRC 2.0 is, I think, launches next month, as well as you still have Alkanes. But to me, Runes is still the clear winner.
Far and wide. And like the bet was that so last year's prediction was that Bitcoin would hit 100K. That was like when Bitcoin was like 15,000. Nobody thought that it would. It was very obvious that it would. Totally nailed that. And then the bet after that was that these guys love Bitcoin so much. They literally love Bitcoin now. Everyone loves Bitcoin. That the higher the Bitcoin goes, that the more they're going to find interest in Bitcoin native assets. And I think that's 100% playing out in real time. I don't think that that's even like a for argument at this point. And so I think the higher that Bitcoin goes, you're going to see the Bitcoin on-chain economy really start to take off in a meaningful way.
Yeah, dog to mega billions, magic internet money to mega billions. Those are the two clear winners here.
I'm a magic internet money fan.
Yeah, you are. Yes, you are. I am too. I hold both of those. Those are like my two main rune bags that have been for a while. I bought them both. Well, my dog is what I got airdropped, and I've just still been holding it since. Peace. And Magic Internet Money I bought like a year ago, and just still haven't even done anything yet with it. Just a hold. That's how Runes is. Runes is a long-term company with long-term bets, and that's our plan with keys as well. So we'll kind of see what happens there. I saw that Solana is ripped over 200, even in the face of Ethereum going on this massive rip. What do we think about that? Do you think that Solana just continues to outperform, even as all these ETH tards continue to pile on, even though Robinhood is building an L2, even though, all these institutions are now bull posting ETH? There's one sole treasury company, I believe. How high does Solana go? And then, what type of impact does that have on the ecosystem? Because obviously on Solana, it's all about launch pads, as we know. We've kind of taken I would say honestly, really the last 4 or 5 months, really started to understand how the Solana business ecosystem works, and all the different companies and how they're all kind of competing to one another. But yeah, what's the speculation here on Solana? Is it AI coins? Does it continue to be launch pads? And how high does Solana go once the ETF passes, and then once more Solana treasury companies start popping up?
It's funny, as we dig into more of what Solana is, you realize that there's like these 1 or 2 or 3 companies that kind of are like the foundation of the entire infrastructure play on Solana, and how basically they collect all the fees that all this trading and all this activity up top all funnels down to these 1 or 2 or 3 little companies.
It's like 3 companies, yeah.
I shouldn't say little. These are 3 giant companies at the bottom. And their whole purpose is to encourage more activity, because the more activity, the more fees they kind of suck at the bottom. And it's a fantastic system. All they need to do is encourage trading. And I don't know. It's hard to bet against them. They're obviously brilliant. They've created, it's the most vibrant, I'd say it's like the most vibrant kind of economy, like real people trading real stuff in all of crypto. They're the winner of this cycle. Are they going to outperform Sui? I don't know. I have no idea what price of Sui is. Sui may win, in this, the price go up thing. But, I have a hard time betting against Solana. Like Solana is what Abstract kind of wants to be, which is like, this is where people go and just do stuff and not have to worry and think about stuff. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, it was the Gary V thing the other day, looking on base and, how do I go and trade? Bro, the most clunky, terrible, worst experience ever to get over there. Like, and the slippage is, you're going to lose 10%. Get ready. I was like, really? What is this, man? This is like the worst freaking experience. And this is base. This is supposed to be like the easy one on Ethereum, right? And it's just like, you compare it apples to apples, and it is garbage compared to Solana. And so I don't know. I'm still holding a bag of soul for sure.
There we go. I mean, it's kind of at the point in the cycle where you just detach fundamentals from like narrative in general, and like even just as like an Ethereum beta. I mean, Solana is like 1/5 the market cap of Ethereum, so it takes much less capital to move it either direction, and it's newer, it's kind of hotter. Anything that ETH can do at this point in time, Solana can do the same thing, whether it's a treasury company or spin up a new kind of application or whatever it might be. So, I mean, I just think that they're going to kind of trade in tandem. I think that Ethereum has a couple X's in it, and I think Solana has probably a couple more X's in it. But I don't think that you're in a bad place betting on either of those. So yeah, I think Ethereum goes to 15K. I think Solana goes to like $850. That would be out.
So don't let the Bitcoiners shill you flipping your Solana for Bitcoin right now.
No, no way.
So, so then on the counterpart to ETH, if you're trying to nail down the ecosystem, where should you be looking for alt season? Is it specifically NFTs? Is it to go all in on layer 2 tokens? Is it to go
definitely not that.
is it to go in the ecosystem, nailing down either base or abstract, or I don't even know what else is really out there.
I mean, I was thinking like Polygon or whatever, right? Because they have the one like functional app over there that people are actually interested in. You know, maybe that's the beta play. You know, I don't even know. It's just like, do I want to buy that? No, I do not.
I know, it's just the same narratives as the real world. Like, you know, crypto is finally catching on. So buy like mainstream crypto coins, Ethereum, like even like XRP. Like, what does XRP do? It doesn't do anything, but it's a mainstream crypto coin. What else is mainstream? AI. People love betting on AI because it makes them feel really intelligent. It makes them feel like they're being a part of the future. It makes them feel like they're betting on like the next generation of technology. And some of it is for sure. But that doesn't mean that all of those coins are good. But I'm saying that like that sector in general is an outperformer. Obviously, we're building an AI, so I'm probably a little biased there, but that makes the most sense to me. Like it can appeal to the mass audience very easily. And people are like, oh, I get that. Crypto and AI. That makes a lot of sense. And just, I don't know. I think anytime you stray too far from the mainstream narrative, you're not able to capture huge money. And so you can find these little pockets and you might be right, but there's a good chance that you might be wrong. So in a market like this, where most things are going to go up, but the bigger things are going to go up the most, I think that you're just you want to stay on the main road and not kind of drift too far away.
Yeah, the one thing that I've seen Base do really well is AI, and they've actually overtaken Solana in terms of, I guess you'd just say market cap value in terms of tokens there. It's probably partly due to virtuals and then partly obviously due to Banker really kind of taking over. But I don't really know what else exists on Base at this point. It's kind of become the AI chain. I know that was their focus with the Coinbase developer program when they began putting out tons of AI tooling last year, even before the whole run up had started. So they really kind of forecasted and saw that. But Solana just has the network effects, which is what makes it really tough. And we've tried to see some of these other chains come in and try to break into the AI world, like Binance, Arbitrum, Avalanche. None of them have really seen to have any type of staying power. It's really just a 2-horse race at this point in time. I did see there was a few AI projects on ETH mainnet, but it's more just like the token has been launched on ETH mainnet. It's not really. It's really Base versus Solana at this point in time.
I think with that, it's nobody's excited to like really experiment on Ethereum anymore. Like they just buy Ethereum. It's not like a vibrant community of explorers like it used to be. All those people are on new chains that they explored. You know what I mean? They migrated to new chains because they were curious. And so Base has a lot of people exploring things. Solana has a lot of people exploring things. Maybe even Sui would have some people exploring things because people got over there to explore. I think anyone that's still just like on ETH mainnet, they're not excited about any of the technology on ETH mainnet. So it's really hard to get kind of new products that spark interest over there because no one's trying new shit. And so that's why I kind of think it gets exported to other chains.
I think, you know, there's been a lot of traction. Obviously, we're deeply involved in Bitcoin, and there's definitely a lot of people over there who like the exploration. And I think, I don't know what space I was on yesterday, and, you know, mentioning Hustle and, you know, Bitcoin's going to be our next expansion with Hustle. And people were pumped, like totally pumped. You know, the idea that they could set Hustle to do a couple of actions in a row and then walk away because they don't have to worry about when it actually executes on Bitcoin. You know, that's just like a use that people are just excited about. So yeah, it's gonna be cool, man.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of inbound from a few different foundations who are interested, obviously Bitcoin, and then a lot of our holders seem to be wanting to trade EVM, right? So there's going to have to be a decision there of what's prioritized with like the EVM ecosystems. Obviously, ETH mainnet tokens, base tokens, abstract tokens, and then we have a few grant programs that we're in as well to support. Should be interesting to kind of see, but Solana trading is still where the trenches are and the launch pads, right? That's where the token issuance is going to be is Solana, whereas the TVL or total locked value is in these EVM chains in some capacity. And then Bitcoin obviously is just so underexplored. It just has it, right? If we're most bullish on that ecosystem, then supporting it, obviously it becomes a long-term bet for Agent Hustle, right? If you're basically going long on that ecosystem from an AI perspective. And you see things like Alkanes, like what Bunzy's building on. And that's really where the experimentation seems to be right now, is with Alkanes and this crossover of smart contracts and Bitcoin. I think BRC 2.0 is also kind of in that similar realm of smart contract experimentation. But, we'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun to go from there. And
by the way, I just looked up Polygon. I guess what was it? It used to be called Matic. Now it's POL.
POL, yeah.
Hit a high this year. Hit a high in April of $1.20. Now it's at 25 cents. So, shit. Maybe. What do you think, Chris? Should we roll some of these?
No, dude. I'm not a fan of their founder.
No, I mean,
dude,
I don't know, man. Something about it is like, look, they have a winning app. Hey, bro,
it's your money.
Consumers know about that app. Like that app is on CNBC. Let's go what the Poly Market says. Poly Market. And people are going to go Poly Market, Polygon. Oh my God, I can buy the coin. Wait, it's only 25 cents.
And then Poly Market expands to Solana, and nobody cares about it.
That's true.
Yeah, Magic Internet money opened up, or it's at 75 mil. Banker is running to 46 mil. It hit 50 mil. Dude, if you look at this Banker chart, it's just been grinding up in this same area, right? That's like a perfect bull flag. The thing that I've noticed with Banker is that because it launched on Clinker, 100% of the supply is distributed immediately. It's the same issue with all these pump fund tokens. There's just so much more supply that you have to eat through to get the token to pump. But it looks like today was the Coinbase announcement, right? And it came up and has this big this big kind of candle from 37 mil to 46 mil. But literally a week ago it was at 50 mil. Couldn't even push it up because there's just so much supply out there for these tokens. No doubt they'll beat through it at some point in time, especially once Coinbase starts actually promoting Banker to normies, right? That's kind of like the Chris thesis, is like they're obviously fully integrated into the Coinbase wallet app, which is now just the Coinbase app. And you can see Coinbase is just completely showing that, like the app. That's like their new focus now. And you don't think now they're listing Banker. You don't think they're going to literally just start chilling the token itself to normies is probably most likely to happen. That'll probably be one of the big runners.
And like these market caps are tiny. I mean, like there was a time where like going to $1 billion market cap was like expected for like this random one-off gaming coin or something like that. If any coins deserve to go to billions of dollars in market cap, it's probably AI coins. Like, I mean, those have the most potential to change the world in such like a seismic way, rather than like some one-off first-person shooter game or something like that. So just in terms of like market sizability and just like narrative, it's harder to beat like a crypto AI narrative. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. What do you guys think about some of the M&A stuff that's been happening recently? I saw that Polymarket came in and purchased some sort of US regulated exchange, I believe. Let me see if I could kind of pull it up here.
Yeah.
It was an acquisition for $115 million, I believe, but it apparently gives them now regulatory clarity to come in and operate in the United States. So they had bought a CFTC regulated exchange clearinghouse, QCEX, for $112 million. Shane Copland, who's the founder, said that it paves their way for American traders, although majority of people are probably already doing this, right? You just use a VPN in some capacity. But prediction markets, man, do we think they're so back? I'm actually, I was watching, maybe it was All In, they were talking about this, or somebody was talking about this on a podcast, that prediction markets still have a long regulatory road to go. There's still SEC enforcement. They still haven't been completely legalized by the United States. It's just this is more of a move fast and break things and just keep running. And I heard Kalshi's actually, which is the US regulated one, has been actually having some issues, some regulatory issues with some of the prediction type markets that are proliferating on their exchange.
I just wonder how much these guys have raised, man. God damn. Like I obviously they've done an incredible job over the last, year, driving attention. It's been amazing, but to be able to throw down $110 million. And I mean, obviously I think they sponsor the All In Pod. They created like a partnership with the All In Pod. These are expensive partnerships, right? I'm impressed with what and the moving obviously they've been able to convince big investors to throw big money in this. And when you do that and you get in with, the people who are important in Washington to be able to kind of smooth these rails, it's impressive. Honestly, it's impressive.
Maybe we get a normie run on Polymarket, like all season on Polymarket, where you just get all these different types of bets and the normies just come in and, right, they're already being hyper gamification is already happening through all these betting applications. I think it's now like 1 in 4 males in the United States are using one of these betting platforms between like DraftKings and Caesars and such. Maybe they make this shift down to Polymarket because they have this ability to open up any of the other spreads, since they've already been conditioned to make different types of bets.
When you start realizing, you say, so we're on the live stream where we'll look at the list of like, DraftKings and all this sort of stuff. And okay, these are the top apps, right? It's Robinhood, Coinbase, DraftKings. But then you might as well throw Charles Schwab on there, and you realize it's all at the end of the day just gambling.
And just different types.
Just different types of gambling. It's literally all it is. Some's long term, some is 8 seconds, but it's all literally just gambling. It kind of all puts it in perspective. And the old way is highly regulated. You gotta, you guys know more than anybody living there in Vegas. You gotta kiss the ring, and there's only a few people that get to actually fucking kiss the ring, and everybody else is excluded. And these are disruptive technologies where they're saying, actually, we're just going to do this. We're going to do it offshore. And now they're coming back onshore. And it feels so much more wide open for disruption. There's just going to be, I don't think there's any question in the next year or so, there's going to be massive kind of consolidation where these online casinos, online betting markets merge with, I don't even know who the big ones in Vegas are, Harrah's, or I don't even know. You tell me. And you just get this, stuff's going to happen, and there's hundreds, billions of dollars, maybe trillions of dollars at stake.
I think that attrition to people just aping on Polymarket is already happening. Like people thought it wouldn't even exist after election season. It's the number 3 visit app in the world, or whatever out of applications you were looking for back there. Has 10 times the viewership than Kalshi does, Polymarket does, 15.9 versus 1.4. I think normies love that stuff, and I don't think that they're going to stop loving it. These are all just different avenues to get to crypto, different avenues to get to internet capital markets, these kind of decentralized betting avenues. But regulation is extremely hard, bro. So especially with those events, because so many of them can be tilted one way or another, and it's just like an insider's information paradise. I don't know. Regulatory is hard to get through, especially because, like, we know in Vegas that these casinos and these gaming regulatory apparatuses have so much like pressure from current operators to disallow new operators because they just don't like competition. It's fierce. So I don't know.
I mean, you look how like DraftKings and those guys were able to just like push through in a similar way, like Uber pushed through and stuff. It just seems like if they can raise enough capital to make it happen, which obviously they have, like this is just going to happen.
Like DraftKings, it's still not even allowed in Nevada. They have offices here, but it's not even allowed in Nevada, right? So it's like they can get through some ways, but then there's places that I don't know. Maybe they'll never get in. I don't know. Maybe they will.
Right. But at the end of the day, who cares? Because all the bettors are in New York and LA. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, it's true.
So I guess Trump came out an hour ago and said that he's considering eliminating capital gains tax on houses.
Boy,
seems stupid. It doesn't help like the average home buyer. That helps like real estate investors, right? Who hits capital gains the most? People that buy houses a lot. The average homeowner buys like one house in their lifetime or two. Is that really going to help them?
I mean, there's already a huge Benny in there. You know, if you live in your house more than whatever it is, 3 years or something, you get like each individual gets like, if you're married, you get like $500,000 tax free in profit. So I mean, it's kind of already in there, but whatever, man. Another more gifts to a certain sliver of Americans.
Right, they're trying to make home affordability lower and more, you know, like fair across the United States. But like if you eliminate capital gains, it's going to increase the amount of investors that come into the market and that are going to be buying more houses. Right? I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. No one's perfect, but these are stupid policies.
Floating out some ideas. Speaking of Solana treasury companies, the Solana treasury company, I guess, had a major announcement today that they're adding a bunch of new people to their board. Apparently some ETF veterans, a former NBA player, Jose Calderon. He was actually pretty good. And somebody named Michael Lane, I suppose, from StakeWiz. So just add into the KOL board is kind of how are we going to show soul strategies? Get an NBA player. That's going to get
too expensive. Get somebody lower, whatever. Yeah,
that's going to get some normies to come in and buy your shit coin.
Whatever you got to do, man.
Yeah. Oh, did you guys see this rumor? Speaking of rumors, Luca Netz said that Pudgy Penguins bought a company last December. They haven't announced it yet. People are speculating that it's OpenSea, which I think would be crazy.
Impossible, bro. There's no way. If they have enough capital, there's no way that happened, bro.
Why would they buy OpenSea?
Why would they do it? It's too expensive. There's no way. Yeah, they would need like, I don't even know.
You would need billions of dollars for that. Yeah, like OpenSea literally owns the NFT market. They own that'd be like buying the NFT order book. Like how valuable is that?
Yeah, I saw that he said they generate like 60 million in revenue per year. I don't think they're buying.
That's 60 million selling plushies. The cost on 60 million is 55 million. Who gives
exactly? There's no margin. That's what I'm saying. So you're generating 60 million. I don't think you're buying OpenSea, but
dude, they're generating 60 million. Their expenses were probably 75 million last year. Let's be serious, man.
And if it was something like that they thought would move the needle, they would have announced it. It's obviously a smaller company, which it should be. There's no shade on buying smaller companies or anything like that. I'm saying people in this industry, they get so far ahead of themselves. They don't make logical sense when they say stuff, or maybe it's just for engagement. I don't know, but none of it ever makes sense, bro.
Yeah.
So thinking of M&A now, you know, where do you think like the next wave of acquisitions is? It's interesting. I saw who was it that posted this yesterday? It was Kyle Samani posted about which companies are looking to be acqui-hired. I guess there's a bunch of companies that are just looking to buy, you know, the longer tail of things to kind of get an edge here. What do you think? You know, where do you think this goes? I mean, kind of how we've looked at it so far. You had traditional finance companies who are buying stable coins and wallet infrastructure. You have exchanges that are buying kind of more the traditional rails, options companies, perps platforms. You had who else was there? You have things like the kind of decentralized exchanges who are buying DEX front ends or liquidity provider kind of front end or infrastructure. where does it go from here? And like obviously Lucanet said they bought a company, you saw Pump Fund bought KOL Scan. It's just literally buy season, consolidation season. I think it's like a lot of these larger companies or a lot of the leaders of different categories are realizing that they need to start deploying some capital to maintain a lead, or they're going to get disrupted by the traditional rails.
What do you got, Chris? Hit me yours first.
My take is that acquisition season is just starting. If you can still buy an exchange for $100 million, then that's just the beginning. These things are worth like billions of dollars. That's like, not only are you buying the revenues, you're buying the licenses, you're buying all of the regulatory clearance that comes with it. So I think this goes on for a year. And I think a lot of people don't know what to buy in crypto. They don't know what tokens to buy. Maybe they're not liquid funds. They're not in any private deals. And they just have to start acquiring businesses. So they're looking at cash flows. They're looking at acquiring users and kind of just like looking to get into the industry in some type of way. But I think acquisition season gets out of hand at some point. I think these companies are extremely valuable. I mean, we look back to the 2020 run. Some of these exchanges had so much money that 3 of them bought literal sports stadiums. I mean, we're nowhere near that type of euphoria yet. And so I look forward to some of these companies being extremely strapped with cash and deploying it in a big way. I mean, there's so many companies out there with billions of dollars that need to deploy to a new industry. And I think that the amount of companies that are even acquirable in crypto is extremely limited. So I think that you're going to see some crazy valuations over the next year.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Honestly, I can't really think. I mean, obviously I see what we have, right? And I realize that we're one of the few AI companies in crypto that can do kind of wallets across blockchains. So there's only, how many teams are actually even acquirable? Like 5 in that business? Basically doing what Privy's doing across multiple chains with an AI laid on top. I don't, Banker's the leader, and you see they've already been swallowed into Coinbase, which is kind of crazy. Like, good on Coinbase for getting that done for basically $0. Like, whoa, because I see that as like, no, this is like, if a MetaMask wants to do the same thing, like, you gotta pay, right? There has to be like an exchange of value there. Banker did it kind of for free and set the table, but it just seems like, in our specific case, it's not gonna be free for the next one. You know what I mean? I don't know, but that's just me. And I don't question bankers doing it. I would have done it too, but it seems like Coinbase got the good deal there, like a really good deal, considering that the only value kind of banker got was maybe a little bit of number go up technology, but besides that, it seems like it's just kind of crazy. For other than that, man, I don't know. I mean, I certainly see the gambling side as like, that just feels right. But what the big one, Polymarket, it's like nobody's going to acquire them. They're doing the acquiring, right? So that'll be interesting to follow that. But I don't know about the number 2. I can't even remember the name of what's the name of the number 2 there.
For what?
For
Kalshi.
Yeah, Kalshi. Number 2, who knows? But certainly gambling and all that sort of thing, I'd keep my eyes peeled for that. Billy Bets, maybe.
Hyper gamification. We never actually talked about the Robinhood situation and I've been kind of following different types of YouTube channels from the traditional world to the crypto world. It was actually kind of funny. First kind of note was Vlad, I think, is really tapped into kind of crypto culture. I don't know if you saw when he did his presentation, he kind of had this like long hair, kind of like scammer crypto bro look. And then literally 2 days later shaves his head and he's on traditional finance, literally looking like a Wall Street bro. Like, this guy's playing both sides of the coin pretty well. Especially that they just did the tokenized OpenAI or private equity, and then OpenAI comes out and it's like, this is an equity. And he's like, yeah, fuck it. Doesn't matter. You can still buy it. Like, just going straight through what crypto people do. It's just like, well, we're going to tokenize anyway, whether you want it to happen or not.
Yep.
I was listening to a podcast of how they're technically doing this. And I guess Vlad has had a relationship with the Arbitrum team for quite a while. And on one of the shows, he was basically saying that Arbitrum was the choice the whole time. There was like speculation that he was going to go to Solana, but he said that it had been known that they were choosing Arbitrum for a long time because of this one reason. And it's that they have a customizable L2 stack. So like for Arbitrum, Polygon has this too, as well as Optimism, where you can basically take their SDK and build your own L2. And for Arbitrum, you only have to pay them, I think it's like 10% of gas fees or something like that. Or you basically join what they call their super chain or their supernet, where it's like you build on top of Arbitrum as an L3 and you like get to be interoperable with all the different apps that have been built on the Arbitrum kind of layer. So they're building their own, right? So it's going to be its own L2 built with the Arbitrum tech stack. And they're going to try to tokenize everything. It sounds like it, but they get full customizability. Obviously, they have centralized control, which, for a company like that, that's exactly what you want. You don't want fucking degens trying to bridge stuff over and trying to MEV your entire chain. Well, although it will be kind of interesting to kind of see how it interacts. Do you think Robinhood can actually pull this off as, the tokenized stock chain and really come in and really, they'll be the first mover here. Although this is something that's been talked about literally since the first ever altcoin back in 2013 of, doing tokenized stocks. But now here's the real first attempt at it. Do you think we'll be this successful?
100%. Yes. If I'm going to bet, I'm going to bet on Robinhood. Like they have the ability to execute for the consumer and have shown that. That's why I wouldn't give it, like Coinbase wanted to do this, I'd be like sell, because I don't think they have the capacity, but Robinhood does. And they've already shown that. I mean, and people being like, well, it's not the actual asset. It's like, bro, do you know what stocks are? Like when you have the stock in you don't actually own the real stock. It's like you own a derivative of a derivative of a who knows what, of course, that's the way it kind of all works. But yeah, I think Robinhood, I give them a great chance. And I think their own stock price kind of goes along with that. People believe they're going to be the winner, I think.
Yeah, I think that they're crushing it. They are kind of the winner. They're even more of a crypto bet than Coinbase is at this point in time, just because they have such a broader net on so many different industries. And it's, especially with stocks, it's much easier to tokenize stocks when you have stock licenses and stock certificates, and you have your whole compliance in-house facing towards that stock market, rather than someone like Coinbase who doesn't have any of those licenses, who doesn't have any of those grants, doesn't have the legal team that supports any of that. So I mean, they've been pushing the limits since the beginning, right? They brought on retail. They began trading after hours. They started doing all of the retail options trading. They did 0-day options, and then they also did like just kind of all of these kind of novel things to include retail and what was once available only to the biggest institutions. So they've really been democratizing that industry like no one else has before. And so I don't know, it's hard to bet against them, but Vlad is a Chad.
I was watching a video a few days ago. They're going through kind of Robinhood's model and what led them to this decision. And from what it looks like, it comes down to the stock to order flow model, where their volume on the equity side is like 5 times or 10 times as much as their crypto volume, but their crypto profits are like 4 or 5 times higher, because they don't have to pay as much of a fee in it, and the spread is much higher. And so they're, I guess, like being able to move equities on chain increases that profit margin like by a few orders of magnitude. And that's kind of the decision there. Obviously, I'm kind of interested to see how they fight off a lot of the kind of crypto native things. Obviously, hackers, scammers, MEV, kind of the things that are, have been a crypto problem for forever, right? Like the crypto trilemma of security, scalability, and decentralization. Obviously, it's going to be on a public chain, but the decentralization is going to be quite minimal. So then, how do you optimize for speed and security in that capacity? And also how open they're going to be to the application layer. I'm kind of interested in seeing. once, right? Because you think about this, if they're building the official kind of stock or tokenized stock L2, there's so many crypto applications that could be built within that ecosystem to where you could take, right? You could take the stock and put in some sort of TVL Ponzi, right? Or you have all this kind of new capital that's being brought on chain. And there's a lot of builders who can, figure out different ways to add yield to the siphon yield and et cetera. And I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to incentivize builders. Are they going to do a grants program? Are they basically, do all the applications have to be regulated inside of it? Is it going to be a little bit more open source, build your own application and the market decides? I don't really know. That's kind of actually like what I'm most curious about, because that's literally going to be tens of billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars at some point. That's going to be new to crypto for people to experiment with at some point.
Gonna be crazy, man. When are they planning on like fully launching it?
He didn't put a date on it, but they've already started building it apparently. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be at probably some point next year.
Yeah.
They move. It's a little bit slower.
I mean, they might miss this cycle completely,
Just kind of funny to see how far Robinhood's come. It was like taboo, like, oh, you're a Robinhood trader. And then Robinhood traders took down Wall Street, right? Like the story of, so just like, this is like the embodiment of crypto idealism, right? Power back to the people, empowering like individual sovereignty and giving people power over their own assets. I don't know. That stuff is boring to talk about these days, I guess.
On private blockchain rails. On private blockchains.
Yeah, we're kind of winning in a way, like
kind of winning, but it's not Satoshi's vision necessarily, but it's
better than it was. I don't know what that counts for. So it's all in due time, I guess. You have to take it.
You got to be able to walk before you can run and stuff like that.
What was that private blockchain in 2017 or 18 that everyone hit? It was called Hyper or something. That was like created by Google or Microsoft or something.
Hyperledger.
Hyperledger. You remember that? That was like the biggest private blockchain attempt, and that just completely failed. It was like IBM or Google
it was
or
like
something.
A consortium of like IBM, Microsoft, all these big companies. I don't know if they ever did anything with it, but
it's like timing has to be right. So many things have to be right for this. All these ideas have been around forever, and it's just like, the timing's wrong, or infrastructure isn't fully built, or usually it's just the people in the market and the legal aspect is just not right. It's crazy. I mean, it is crazy to talk about all this stuff was tried on Counterparty in 2015 or whatever, and it's just like it couldn't. That guy who was that guy from Overstock was right. He was just totally right. He was just at the wrong time. It's just
10 years early.
Yep. Totally right.
A decade too early. Now we're seeing, the proliferation of L2s. I think this is, again, where Ethereum just really kind of takes center stage. It was interesting. I was watching another podcast. It was a recent Ethereum treasury company that used to be a Bitcoin miner. I forget which one this one is called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but there's
that's Tom Lee's.
Is that Tom Lee's?
Mm-hmm. It's called.
And Bitminer, and the guy who was running the mining portion, he was on a podcast. Oh, he was on Laura Shin's, and she was asking him about the tokenomics of the Ether token and how it's incompatible with the layer 2s and how they're going to sell this narrative to Wall Street. And he's like, well, it just comes down to marketing and narrative. She's like, so basically the tokenomics are detached and you're just going to sell the narrative to Wall Street. And he's like, yeah, pretty much. I was like, well, I mean, if you're going to bet on it, right? This is when you definitely need like KOL heavy kind of branding, right? It's just like a meme coin at this point in time. And if they're just going to sell the vision of the world computer or whatever they spin up, I don't even know what the running narrative is at this point. Chris, have they come out with like what the official narrative is to Wall Street?
Better than Bitcoin, I believe. I think that's it. Literally.
Running back.
Yeah. Yield bearing crypto. Yeah, it is what it is, man.
I think one of them was like, I'd rather own an iPhone than a flip phone type thing. Like the same narrative, just repackaged.
I guess whenever the Ethereum staking ETF is live. Like, I guess that would probably make sense to Wall Street, like 2% yield on your ETF holding. It's like whenever I go to the Bitcoin conference and Babylon's there and all the Bitcoiners are going crazy over 1% yield. Like that's Wall Street for sure.
It's a chain that's built on Bitcoin. Okay.
And you take your token and you stake it and you get 1% yield on it. Crowd goes wild. Crazy. Every time, dude. Every time. That man's got the magic touch, dude.
Hey, your KOL, whether it's that, sciencey dude or it's Jack Mahler's or Joe Lubin, your KOL matters, choose wisely. And that's, I think, part of the great thing about ETH is what's that guy's name who just, is the lead of the new treasury company. He's so engaging and has such
Tom Lee.
Yeah, Tom Lee that's it. I mean, that moves the needle. It's literally worth billions and billions of dollars. And they were smart to target him and get him. And yeah, the KOL matters, man.
That it does. Yeah, Tom Lee. I mean, it's Tiger Global, I think is his fund, right?
Fund strat.
Oh, fund strat. I remember him in 2019 or 18 or something being on CNBC Money and all these ones talking about crypto and such.
Yeah, he took the Bitcoin bet early. He's actually been like one of the most right investors in like modern times. He's like literally called like every top, every bottom, at least like within the crypto cycles and the more macro cycles. But he's been bullish on Bitcoin since like 2000, never wavered, called like all the in-between cycles, just like a total Chad, bro. One of the best to ever do it. One of my favorites.
Beast. Yeah. Glad
and then
that
now
we
he
have
switched to Ethereum, right? When it was time to switch to Ethereum. You know what I mean? Good guy.
So when is the time to switch to Solana? Do you think that's like next cycle? Or is it just like Wall Street just going to bet on ETH because it's easier for these Wall Street or public companies to build L2s, which kind of fits that narrative?
I think it's always a good time to bet on Solana. It's good tech. It's newer tech. It's smaller. It's, whether it's a beta or an alpha to Ethereum, I'm not sure, but it's the same trade. It's just at a smaller market cap with, a different build style. So it's the same thing. Like, do I bet on Google or do I bet on Microsoft? I don't know. It just depends on the kind of person you are. Do I bet on Apple or do I bet on Android? It's like, I don't know. It depends on what you're kind of looking for. So these things, they always come in pairs, for whatever reason, except for Bitcoin. But most of these technologies, they come in pairs and, they apply to different types of personalities.
I got one final point here. One final question is, I did see a Doge treasury company pop up recently.
Let's go.
I believe it was like a $10 million buy or something like this.
Come on.
I'm surprised they only raised that. I would think it's like, it's like XRP. It's just what's the most known. What is every taxi driver? The joke. It's like which taxi driver or which Uber driver, which crypto are they interested in? And XRP, Doge. This is name brand right up there with Bitcoin.
I had a few coworkers hit me up the other day, and they're all in on Bonk, I guess. all my old nightclub people have all just market up Bonk.
That's random. Who needs to own? All right, here's what we do. We need to get Billy Marcus to found the Doge Treasury Company. He could get back in the game. He deserves it. He's SKOL. That's what we need to do.
That would be.
That'll be like the ultimate comeback arc for Billy Marcus in Doge. He'll have a ton of supply. Hey, Adam, get on the horn.
That's a great idea, honestly.
Get on the horn. All right.
It's honestly a great idea.
Tell him to buy bells while he's at it.
Bro,
well, yeah, of course.
The side pieces bells.
Wouldn't that be epic?
That would be a great story.
Oh, it's a great story.
And then you'd have Alon shilling it. You get the biggest KOL again.
Yeah, right? Doge designer, all those guys. They're all in that.
Yeah,
great idea.
Interesting. Yeah, Alon hasn't even been reactivated yet. Is the largest KOL in the world to shield Doge. When that does happen,
I think he has his own.
You just know though. I mean, I guarantee you, he's going to integrate Doge into X payments. I mean, I've been saying this for years. That this is like, I literally put this out like 2 years ago, and I was like, it's not the top of the market until Doge is integrated into X payments.
That is the top, because it's just like the chain euphoria. Like that's when it will happen. Is the euphoria around it? That's when the people will demand it, and then it's over. Right when it seems like it's getting started, it's actually over.
Until then, everybody, we'll be back on Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Continuing to grind on Agent Hustle. Please make sure that you follow Agent Hustle, who's on stage if you've not yet, bringing a lot of migrations to everybody next month. Some big teams. I believe the biggest team is a $50 million market cap so far, but that just opens the door for much larger ones. So until then, everyone have a safe Tuesday. We'll see you guys soon.
Later, guys.
Take care.